Hello, Saltmates. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi. I go by Kai, and I make art videos. So, do the things like subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell. Today, we're going to be talking about Inktober. I'm going to show you guys what I plan to use for Inktober. We're going to talk about what Inktober is, the procedures, everything Inktober right now. So for this year, I am going handmade DIY way. I made a sketchbook specifically for Inktober. So it's I think it's just staples, and I made it 32 pages so that I can swatch my supplies and write down the prompts for the entire month. And then I plan to do like sketching and thumbnail over here, and then the finished work here. So for my work making supplies, I have inks that I've made myself over the years. I don't know which one of them is still good and which is not, so we're going to swatch all of that out. I have paint brushes, and I have um, dip pen. Not sure if I'm going to use them all, but let's see. And I'm just going to swatch out each of the inks while we talk about Inktober. Alright, so Inktober is a yearly challenge that happens in October, and it was started by Jake Parker back in 2009. And the reason he started it was because he wanted to get better at inking his illustrations. So he set out to create an inked illustration every day in the month of October. So it's a 31-day challenge, and he put it out on Instagram, and people started doing it as well. So at this point, it's like a huge thing where artists from all over the world take part in it every year. Now, right now, there's like a bit of controversy going on surrounding Inktober because one, there was a situation where Jake trademarked the Inktober name as well as the logo that he created. And a lot of people did not like this because artists usually they create 31 drawings for the month, and then they would put it all together in a book and sell it. It would be marketed as, like, say I were to sell a book, it would be marketed as a Quest to Arts Inktober 2019. But since he trademarked Inktober, you can't really use the term Inktober in the title of your book. So a lot of people felt like the reason the challenge got so big was because people were participating. And now these people that participate, you're like stopping them from selling the stuff that they make themselves. And a lot of people felt hurt by it. Jake did put out a statement, a video saying that wasn't the purpose. It was because they have these sites that they steal people's art and they make merchandise out of it, and then they sell it. So he trademarked the Inktober logo. So if someone was doing that, then he could take legal action against them. It wasn't to affect the small, not even small, but the actual artists creating their own art. And then another controversy popped up this year because this year he is putting out an Inktober book that's going to be out on the 15th of September. And there's another artist called Alfonso Dunn, and he has a book out for a couple of years now called Inking and Drawing. And he says he's accusing Jake of plagiarizing his book. Jake's book is not out yet, so there's just like a couple sample pages on Amazon, and from like those 4 or 5 sample pages, Alfonso was able to find couple similarities with his book. So there's like a lot of controversy where people are like not wanting to do it anymore or not wanting to support Jake, and there's there's like a lot going on. But for me, nothing against Jake Parker, but I intend to still do the challenge because at this point, Inktober is bigger than Jake. Thousands, if not more, people participate in Inktober every year, and I intend to still participate. So, controversy aside, some of the benefits with taking part in Inktober are it's the same as taking part with any other monthly long challenge where at the end you will improve. So last year I had some goals set that I wanted to achieve because it was my first time trying Inktober. So I came up with like a steps to follow to help me achieve. I did not complete it, spoiler alert, but yeah, the steps were one, setting goals, two, deciding whether I would follow a prompt list or not, um, deciding how prepared I wanted to be, choosing my supplies, um, becoming familiar with the supplies, and then doing it. So my goals for last year was to become more consistent at drawing because I was like hardly drawing at that point, but I wanted to draw more and I wanted to get better at a particular subject matter. And last year that was insects because I have a fascination with insects. I don't want them to touch me, but I like looking at them and I wanted to draw them. Those were my goals last year. And even though I didn't finish the challenge, I still think I achieved the goals. And the reason I did not finish the challenge, this is a tip, and I feel like nobody says this tip because nobody is as stupid as I am. But maybe don't try to do more than one challenge at the same time because last year I was doing the official Inktober prompt list as well as what mesograms insect prompt list, and I was also doing Whimsyween by James Burke. So I was doing 3 different challenges at the same time. So every day I had to come up with 3 different pieces of artwork. So like that was like a recipe for disaster. But I did end up like getting to like 3 weeks in or something like that before I got to burnout and just couldn't do it anymore. So my only goals for this year is to actually finish the challenge, to actually use these inks that I made, because I made like a lot of freaking inks last year and then I was like too scared to use them. I also have to use my dip pen because I bought these dip pens last year for October and I did not use them once. So, another thing that I want to use is this pen. I won this pen in May from Pentel on Instagram and I haven't even like opened it yet. So I want to use this as well. How prepared do you want to be? So some people would, like one person, they would look at the prompt each morning. So when they wake up, they'll look at the prompt for that day and then they will sit down and get right to it and make an artwork. Some people will look at the prompt in the morning, they will think about it during the day, then they will do their artwork in the evening. Some people would look at the prompt list like a month before and come up with thumbnail sketches beforehand so that on the day they have an idea of what it is they want to do. This time around, I want to do thumbnails for everything and then do the drawings in the morning because I'm hoping to make a video for each day. Then after that, you have to choose your supplies because, like, you think, okay, it's Inktober, so obviously you have to use ink, but you don't realize how expensive ink can be because you have the normal inks like these, but then there's still like this is alcohol ink, there's watercolor inks, there's acrylic inks, there's calligraphy inks. There's like so much different types of inks, and then there's pens because those counts as inks as well because they have inks in them. Markers count as ink. There's like so much options that you can choose from. Once you decide the medium that you're going to use, you need to pick a surface that's appropriate for that medium. So since I'm using liquid inks, I would have to use something that can hold water. So it would make sense to use watercolor paper. But I think we are already established that I am stupid. So I'm not using watercolor paper. The paper that I am using, I have no idea what type of paper it is. Like when I was setting up my studio, I found like a whole ream of paper and it was like thick paper and I could not remember where I bought it from or what it is. So I don't know what it is. I just have it labeled as Mr. Thick paper. It seems to be working for the inks. They don't bleed through to the other side. It's gonna work. And then of course you have to decide if you're going to use like brushes. There's like the traditional paintbrush. There's the water brush. There's dip pens. There's fountain pens. I mean, you could use Q-tips if you want. Like, really, the options are endless. So when you don't decide what all you're gonna use, it makes sense to sit down and become familiar with your items and how they work together and what's not. And then the final step is to just do it. Just get up every day, make a drawing every day, and post it every day. And that's pretty much everything. So, last year I made a blog post on my site. It's titled How a Novice Approaches Inktober, and it pretty much talks about the same things that I just talked about today. So, if you want, you can give that a read. I'm going to link it in the description down below. And if you guys are going to take part in Inktober this year, let me know in the comments. If you're not going to take part because of all the controversy or for whatever reason, let me know that as well. I really want to know what you guys feel about Inktober this year. So if you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.